A shadow fell over the heart of New York City. The bustling metropolis, known for its towering skyscrapers and ceaseless energy, suddenly found itself under a dark, foreboding cloud. The usual hum of the city was replaced by an eerie silence, as if the very soul of New York was holding its breath, anticipating the chaos that was about to unfold. Loki, the god of mischief, grinned, his scepter glowing ominously. The artifact pulsed with a sinister energy, casting an eerie light on his face. He stood at the center of Times Square, a place usually filled with life and laughter, now transformed into a stage for his malevolent plans. His eyes scanned the horizon, relishing the fear that was beginning to take hold of the city. Buildings shook, cars flew, panic erupted. The ground beneath New Yorkers' feet trembled, as if the very earth was rebelling against the chaos unleashed by Loki. Windows shattered, and debris rained down from the sky. The once orderly streets were now scenes of utter pandemonium, with people scrambling to find safety amidst the destruction. Loki laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the concrete canyons. His laughter was not just a sound, but a manifestation of his twisted joy. It reverberated off the buildings, amplifying the sense of dread that gripped the city. Each peal of laughter seemed to sap the courage from those who heard it, leaving them paralyzed with fear. Screams ripped through the air as a Chitauri chariot sliced through the sky. The alien vehicle, with its sleek, menacing design, moved with terrifying speed and precision. It was a harbinger of the invasion that was now upon New York. The sight of it alone was enough to send waves of terror through the hearts of the city's residents. People ran for their lives, fear etched on their faces. The streets, once filled with the hustle and bustle of daily life, were now scenes of chaos and desperation. Parents clutched their children tightly, trying to shield them from the horrors unfolding around them. The air was thick with the sounds of sirens, screams, and the relentless roar of destruction. Loki relished the destruction, his eyes gleaming with malicious glee. To him, this was not just an act of chaos, but a symphony of disorder, each explosion and scream a note in his grand composition. He watched with satisfaction as his plans came to fruition, the city bending to his will. New York was his playground, and its people, his toys. The city, known for its resilience and spirit, was now at the mercy of a god who thrived on chaos. The skyline, once a symbol of human achievement, was now a testament to the destructive power of one being's malevolence. And as the city lay in ruins, the question lingered: who would rise to challenge the god of mischief? A sonic boom split the chaos as Iron Man rocketed across the sky. His repulsors blazed, incinerating a Chitauri chariot in a blinding flash. "Stark, you're late!" boomed a voice from above. Iron Man landed with a clang, his faceplate retracting to reveal Tony Stark's smirking face. "Fashionably late, Cap," he quipped, always fashionably late. His eyes narrowed on Loki. "All right, reindeer games, party's over." Captain America landed with a thud, his shield deflecting energy blasts. "Stark, focus!" he commanded, throwing his shield at a group of Chitauri soldiers. "Always the strategist, Cap," Stark retorted, firing his repulsors. The air crackled with energy as the two Avengers fought back to back, a symphony of clanging metal and explosive energy. A bolt of lightning struck the ground, and Thor, god of thunder, stood amidst the swirling dust. "Loki!" he roared, his voice booming like thunder. "Brother, cease this madness." Loki merely laughed. "Madness? This is just the beginning, brother." He raised his scepter, and a beam of energy shot towards Thor. The god of thunder met it head-on, his hammer, Mjolnir, glowing with celestial power. The clash of their powers shook the very foundations of the city. Section 5. Hulk Smash! A roar shook the ground and the Hulk burst onto the scene, scattering Chitauri soldiers like bowling pins. "Hulk smash, puny god," he bellowed, charging towards Loki. Loki, caught off guard, barely had time to raise a shimmering green barrier before the Hulk slammed into it with the force of a runaway train. The barrier shattered, and Loki went flying, landing in a heap amongst the debris. Section 6. Black Widow and Hawkeye. Precision and skill. Two figures moved like phantoms through the chaos, their attacks precise and deadly. Black Widow, a whirlwind of acrobatic fury, took down Chitauri soldiers with her electrifying batons. Hawkeye, perched atop a building, picked off enemies with his arrows, each shot finding its mark with deadly accuracy. "Target practice," he muttered, drawing back his bowstring. Section 7. Teamwork and turning tides. The Avengers, united against a common enemy, began to turn the tide of the battle. Iron Man and Thor exchanged knowing glances, their combined assault forcing Loki back. Captain America, his shield a blur, protected a group of civilians, while Black Widow and Hawkeye provided covering fire. The Hulk, a force of pure rage, smashed his way through the enemy ranks, his roars echoing through the streets. Section 8. Loki's defeat and escape. Loki, battered and bruised, realized he had underestimated the Avengers. He glanced around frantically, seeking an escape route. The battle had taken a toll on him both physically and mentally. His once grandiose plans of domination now seemed like distant dreams, shattered by the relentless might of Earth's mightiest heroes. The weight of his failure pressed heavily on his shoulders, but Loki was not one to give up easily. His mind raced, calculating his next move, even as his body screamed for respite. His eyes fell on the Tesseract, its blue energy pulsing. An idea, desperate but cunning, formed in his mind. The Tesseract, a source of immense power, had always been a beacon of hope for him. It represented a chance to turn the tide, to escape the clutches of defeat. Loki's gaze lingered on the glowing artifact, memories of its power and potential flooding his thoughts. He knew that if he could harness its energy, he might still have a chance to escape and fight another day. As Thor closed in, hammer raised for a final blow, Loki let out a defeated sigh. "You win, brother," he rasped, his voice laced with faux resignation. The words were bitter on his tongue, but he knew they were necessary. Thor, ever the noble warrior, would hesitate at the sight of his brother's apparent surrender. Loki's mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, each one a potential escape plan. He had to bide his time, wait for the perfect moment to strike. But in his eyes, a mischievous glint remained, a hint that this wasn't the end. Loki was a master of deception, and he had one final trick up his sleeve. As Thor's hammer descended, Loki's hand moved subtly, reaching for the Tesseract. The room seemed to hold its breath, the tension palpable. In that split second, Loki's cunning mind worked at lightning speed, formulating a plan that would see him escape once more. The battle might have been lost, but the war was far from over. Loki's escape was not just a retreat, but a promise of his inevitable return. Section 9. A hint of mischief to come. Loki vanished in a swirl of green smoke, his presence dissipating into the ether as if he had never been there at all. The air crackled with residual energy, a testament to the power he wielded and the chaos he thrived in, leaving behind only the echo of his laughter. It was a sound that sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest heroes, a haunting reminder of the trickster's unpredictable nature. His laughter was not just a sound, it was a promise, a forewarning of the turmoil that lay ahead. The Avengers, victorious but wary, watched the spot where he had stood, their eyes scanning the area for any sign of his return. They knew all too well that Loki was a master of deception, capable of turning the tide of battle with a mere flick of his wrist. Knowing that the god of mischief was never truly defeated, only biding his time. Each hero's mind raced with thoughts of what his next move might be, the strategies he might employ, and the havoc he could wreak upon an unsuspecting world. The battle for New York was over, but the scars it left behind were a stark reminder of the cost of their victory. Buildings lay in ruins, streets were littered with debris, and the once bustling city was now a landscape of desolation and despair. But the war for Earth, and perhaps the universe, had just begun. The heroes knew that this was only the beginning, that greater challenges awaited them beyond the horizon. The fate of not just their world, but countless others hung in the balance, and Loki, the puppet master, had just pulled the first string. With a cunning smile, he reveled in the chaos he had sown, knowing that every action he took was part of a grander scheme. He was the architect of disorder, the weaver of fate's tangled web. His mischievous laughter echoed in the air, a chilling symphony that resonated with the promise of more to come. It was a sound that would haunt the dreams of those who heard it, a constant reminder of the ever-present threat he posed, a promise of chaos yet to come. The dark storm clouds gathering over the city were a harbinger of the trials that lay ahead. The heroes braced themselves, knowing that they would need to be ever vigilant, ever ready, for the next move in Loki's game of mischief and mayhem.